Okay, let's take a look at some sample problems from section 1-3, and we'll be working from problems on page 21 in the textbook. These problems are basically short answer problems, so hopefully it won't take us too long to get through these. Number 2 asks us to know the difference between quantitative and categorical data. Quantitative being numbers, categorical or qualitative data being non-numeric characteristics. So we're asked, how do quantitative data and categorical data differ? So it's basically what I said. Quantitative data has to do with numerical characteristics. Categorical or qualitative data has to do with non-numeric characteristics. Okay, in number 4, we're to identify the population. It says, in a Gallup poll of 1,010 adults in the United States, 55% of the respondents said that they use local TV stations daily as a source of news. Is the 1,010 value a statistic or a parameter? Is the 55% value a statistic or a parameter? Describe the population. Okay, so we notice, first of all, the poll is of the 1,010 adults in the U.S. So when we look at the 1,010 value, it would be a statistic, and so would the 55%, because of the fact they're coming from a portion of the adults in the United States. The actual population would be all adults in the United States. Okay, moving on to number 6, it says determine whether the given value is a statistic or a parameter. There are 50 state capitals in the United States. So if we're talking about the United States, we talk about 50 state capitals, then that means we're talking about all of them. So that would be a parameter having to do with the population. Okay, and number 8, among the flights included in the sample of flights in dataset 15 of Appendix B, 21% arrived late. So the key word there is sample of flights, so that means we have a statistic. Remember, if it's coming from a population, we have a parameter. If the number is coming from a sample, then we have a statistic. So in number 10, the average or mean atomic weight of all elements in the periodic table is 134.355 unified atomic mass units. So notice the key word there is all. So we're talking about all of them. That means we're working with the entire population of atomic elements in the table. So we would end up with, in the periodic table, so we'd end up with a parameter. Number 12, the last one of these, in a random sample of households, it was found that 47% of the sampled household had high definition TVs. So as we look at this, the key word is sampled, tells us it's coming from a sample, so it would be a statistic. Okay, in our next group, we're deciding whether we have a value that is discrete or continuous. Discrete or continuous. So 14, Honda Civic cylinders. The Honda Civic has 4 cylinders, so that would be discrete. We can count the number. Okay, in 16, George Washington was 188 centimeters tall. Okay, because of the fact when we're measuring things like height, we can go along a continuum that includes fractions in between. That is continuous. All right, number 18. Data set 13 in the Appendix B includes crash test results from 21 different cars. So again, we have a count. We're counting how many cars, so we would have a discrete. value. Arm circumference from data set 1 in Appendix B, we see that a female had an arm circumference of 27.5 centimeters. So again, we're measuring along an interval, including fractions, so that one would be continuous. So you can see counting and measuring is basically what we're getting it down to. Okay, next group, determine which of the 4 levels of measurement, nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio is most appropriate. So in 22, we have depths of earthquakes listed in data set 16 of Appendix B. So we're talking about how deep the earthquake occurred. So we're measuring, it can go from a depth of 0 to any number. So what we're talking about when we have a beginning value of 0, we're talking about a ratio level of measurement. All right, 24, the movie Avatar was given a rating of 4 stars on a scale of 5 stars. All right, with this we know that 4 stars is not quite as good as 5 stars. We know 4 stars is better than 3 stars. So, but we can't determine the differences between the measurements between a 4 and a 5 star. So it's an ordinal level of measurement. 26 car models, and they have a list here, used for crash testing as listed in set 13 of Appendix B. Alright, we're talking about car models, so as we look at these descriptions, Chevrolet, Aveo, Honda, Civic, Buick, Lucerne, that's just nominal. It's just a way to identify them. There's no ordering possible here. Finally, last of all, we have body temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit listed in data set 3 of Appendix B. Alright, with temperatures, we can go in the negative and we can go way up. So it's not ratio, but it would be almost, it's the level above that, or below that I should say, it would be interval. So we've covered the basic vocabulary from this section.